Wait till I tell you this story. When I look back at these photos, all I can remember is being obsessed with two things: football and Leeds United, and David Attenborough.
4 million different solutions to the problems of staying alive.
All I wanted to be was a wildlife photographer / cameraman. I absolutely obsessed and marvelled over Gordon Buchanan and all these sort of amazing people that I watched go out into the wild and camp and hide away for days on end only to catch a glimpse of a snow leopard from a million miles away on a zoom lens. It fascinated me, and what I loved to watch more than anything was actually after each programme they would always do a making of this documentary. That was more entertaining for me than the actual documentary. I obsessed over it. So you know what, I was reading this article the other day and it inspired me so much, and it sort of resonated with what I'm trying to do now, albeit this story was on an extraordinarily great level, but it did resonate with me. You know, this is a cliche, right? But I would love to go back to my 11, 12-year-old self and just ask, why can't you be a wildlife photographer, wildlife cameraman? It's your dream, chase it. I sort of probably know the answer to this, and it's not just me. Every kid at that age has zero confidence, but I'd still love to ask the question. But in my head at the time, I know the answer. You saw the story, aren't you? You go to school, you get a job, you fall in love, you have kids, you get married, all the way around, apparently, buy a house and retire. And that is that story that you settle in for. The only slight little problem with that is, yeah, that makes you happy, totally happy, but you do spend half the other time doing your work. So chase your dream and you might have both. It's possible.
Probably doesn't spot this.
Now, don't get me wrong, I love my kids, and you know I love my kids. Today, for example, look how beautiful today is. I love coming out there, taking a little walk, it's amazing. And I'm so lucky I get that. But what I'm talking about today is the other 60% of life that we live to get money, to make a living. I'm on about those dreams we had when we were kids. Julian Bird. You might have never heard of that name, but I promise you won't forget it in a second. He's currently starring as Freud on the West End. Not so remarkable for an actor? Wait till I tell you this story. If you've ever said to yourself, too old for this has passed me by, can't do this, it's past me, then listen to this story.
See the light of a new day dawning. Feel the light from a beating heart.
Julian Bird. He was 60 years old when he was diagnosed with bladder cancer. He'd been a psychiatrist all his life, and he quit. Survived the bladder cancer, and at 63 went to the Royal Centre for Speech and Drama to study acting. Now at 80 years old, he is starring as Freud on the West End. Just think about that for a second. Just think about that for a second. He was 63, 2 years off retirement in the UK, and he started on a course to be an actor. So I'm laughing at myself now because the perspective that this gave me 2 days after I said to a friend, too old for football, can't do this anymore. And I read that and thought, what am I talking about? That perspective is sometimes just what you need. So the next time that you need that perspective, think of this guy's name and think of all these people's names.